Hi, welcome and welcome back. We are going to look at soul growth today, this evening. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Thanks for being here and bringing your energy to this reading. This is intended for your highest good and greatest well-being. Soul growth. Okay, there's a lot of cards. The curse. A ghost dance. Yeah. Okay, it's not the best lighting, but the moon and the mystical shaman, of course. God, even I can't see these cards very well in this light. Let me see if I can adjust this. Yeah, genius. The light is on. There we go. The curse. The woman is silenced, but her eyes speak. And you can see the third eye is surrounded by this heart shape here. Okay. Ghost dance. Okay, soul growth. So, interestingly, the curse, the ghost dance, and the mystical shaman all refer to our stories and creating new stories. The curse, obviously, is our limitations, repeated patterns, generational karmic patterns repeated. The ghost dance refers to our ancestors. This reading is about soul growth. So you are ready to release karmic patterns, the curses that have been holding you back. But in order to do this, you need to face your shadow and honour the ghosts of the past. It's one step to see where our patterns, or that we have patterns, limitations, and our thought processes that are holding us back. The next step is to perhaps follow that tangle and see where they come from, which gives us realization about whether things came from our parents, society, growing up, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, however, wherever things come from. It's very easy to go into blame at that point, but we have to make peace. Otherwise the realization serves nothing. It just moves into blame. So we have to make the choice to move into a new story. We have to forgive the past and release. And we've got this moon cycle here, which I feel is the key to doing this if you've really been stuck with soul growth for some time. Soul growth. So this reading is for someone who has probably felt cursed throughout their life and has probably done countless amounts of work, shadow work on themselves, in spiritual ways and traditional psychology, holistic, all sorts of ways. This reading for someone who is extremely psychic. I just had telekinetic as well. There's lots of different types of gifts and abilities. And this is for someone who has a whole load of them and perhaps doesn't even have a name or a label for a lot of them. Someone who actually isn't fully working with them. On some level, you definitely know, like in your gut, and when you perhaps stumble across readings like this, You realise that they're for you, but in another sense, you may just feel like you're floundering and that this is just all a load of nonsense and doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Since starting this reading, my throat chakra keeps tightening up a lot. So it's funny that the curse came out straight away. This is a message about soul growth, right? And if this message is for you and you relate to these descriptions, you are ready to make a huge change, like a huge visceral shift in your life, in your physical, spiritual, mental, emotional body and being. You've been basically fighting demons your entire life. You probably have always seen entities, felt them, heard their presence, and in different sleep states or meditative states as well, been aware of other entities and presence. You'll be the kind of person that walks into a room and read the energy immediately, especially old buildings as well, cities, any sort of environment. You probably keep yourself to yourself because of this. You probably think of yourself as being a bit of a weirdo. Maybe you don't even kind of fit in traditional alternative groups, traditional mainstream spiritual groups. And you've probably been looking for your tribe for quite some time. These cards, or certainly these three at the top, relate to heavy karmic cycles and burdens and restraints. So we've gone straight in the deep end with the topic of soul growth. The curse is this repetition of patterns and extreme experiences where perhaps nothing ever seems to work out in life, no matter how much you try. You might have tried everything basically, and you get it, you understand it, but it doesn't work, which is why you then go back to thinking this is all a load of nonsense and you're just probably a bit of a weirdo. And I'm sorry that you feel that way about yourself, and I'm sorry that that's been mirrored back to you in society and even in so-called alternative groups or spiritual groups. You still may not have found the mirror and the support that you've needed to reflect things back to you. But the key I already see is here as well, is with the moon cycles. So we are now going to turn your curses, they're going to become gifts, and you can access the gifts. You can work with your ancestors by honouring your ancestors, and you can rewrite the whole of your life story in this lifetime, and if necessary other lifetimes as well. And the key to this is the moon cycles. You may or not already work closely with the moon cycles and pay attention to them. We've just come out of a full moon in Aquarius, just off the back of the Lionsgate portal, and just sort of a day or so before Mercury stationed direct. So perhaps this is why this energy is coming up now for you. I'm going to use tarot to expand further, but essentially the key is knowing that now you can make these changes, and the moon cycles are going to be fundamental. Let's just go straight to that. Moon cycles are fundamental to be making these changes. Yeah, that just flipped over. You've got to honour the grief. And all of the experiences that you've been through of sabotage and self-sabotage, and also see that they are patterns. The moon represents the subconscious and the psyche, and the patterns are set in the moon just like automated scripts in order to help our brain have more capacity to get on with living, and it's meant to make life easier. But if those patterns of those automated scripts are not functioning for our highest good and greatest well-being, then it's time to rewrite the script. And it's doing that through the lens of compassion. Okay, it's not through blame. It's with the compassion that we can dissolve these scripts. In fact, that's the only way to do it, is to hold them like she holds this cup of love, with reverence and compassion, and with thanks for the wisdom that's been given. You may be in a position where you can see no reason to give thanks, and you see no wisdom accumulated. But now, from this point forward, you start making these steps, knowing that there's going to be success. You're going to find things are going to move a lot faster, and perhaps for the first time ever. So the Chariot card is also the card of the moon. So a lot of heavy significance about the moon and the subconscious of the psyche here. Perhaps it's also, I mean, any recommendations I make, I feel like you would have already explored so many of these areas. So it could just be a case of revisiting some things that you've already looked into. I'm just going to make some more space up here so that we can get these cards on the table for you. Essentially, this is also like a huge acknowledgement for whoever's reading this is. It's not easy having lived with this curse, and I'm sure that you have not felt comfortable being here and living this life. You may have had moments where it felt like moments of reprieve, but I'm sure they feel like they've been few and far between. I'm sure you feel you've mostly been stuck in your head. And yeah. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but you know your own story, and I just want to hold this space to honor and respect you for all that you've been through, and that you're still here, and actually to recognize the service of the pattern that you're holding, the vibration and the frequency that you've been anchoring in to the world since you were born. And again, that's been another kind of difficulty in itself, probably, is that your energy is of such a high frequency that it's very hard to hold on to. Imagine trying to hold on to lightning or wield it or control it in any way. It's impossible. So there's something about your energy frequency being so high, and you may think that's not true. You may say, well, it's not a high frequency because you have negative thoughts or depressive thoughts, or because you've struggled with anxiety or grief or loss or loneliness or sense of rejection, abandonment, exclusion from society, being the scapegoat, being the martyr, the victim, or you've had perhaps angry, rageful thoughts, the full spectrum, and may have used all sorts of distractions, substances, or technology to scroll, and I don't know, computer games, whatever it is that people use to distract themselves. So you may not even view yourself as having a high frequency or a high vibration. But often when people do carry a high frequency and they haven't yet found a way to hold that and embody it through no fault of their own, despite perhaps many attempts, then turning to substances is obviously kind of a natural scenario. Right, this is interesting. So I feel like this has been a long time coming. You've been doing this for a long time. And what I'm seeing here is reciprocity, in terms of the universe is going to start paying you back for your service. I think is the best way that I can describe that. Although it's it's been a long time coming. I want to say that there is wisdom and lessons learned in all the experiences that you've had, but at this moment in time, you may not give it a rat's ass about what wisdom you've gained. You're just more interested in changing these circumstances that you've been on repeat over and over and over. You want to change the pattern. You want to get unstuck, and you want to change things fast, which makes perfect sense. So why are the moon cycles key? What are we? I'm just drawing on the tarot to illuminate things. So if you've never done this before, or maybe you have done it before, try for the next 28 days, or do it longer if you can. Start to journal exactly what's going on in your life according to the phases of the moon. The moon changes signs about every 2 and a bit days or so. So pay attention. It will go through the whole, in a 28 and a bit day cycle, it will go through the whole zodiac. If you start to pay attention to what's going on with you on a daily basis in terms of the moon, you might cut out about 90% of the BS that you've been dealing with, because you'll realize it's not your stuff. You'll realize it's energies pulling on your psychic antennas, and you've confused that with yours, and that's going to help you to let go of stuff. But it's required you to really just batten down the hatches and lock down your chakras. If you haven't already got grounding practices that work, obviously you need to find ways to shield and protect your chakra. But I feel this has come up because it's saying that this is being offered to you. The universe is now, it's like a gate's been opened and something's been released. So like I said a moment ago, I feel like you've probably tried everything. So anything I that comes up here and is suggested, you will have already done it. But the reason it's being suggested here again is because now this time it's gonna work. It's gonna make a difference, and you're gonna have traction. Because it's going to change now. You've got the Wheel of Fortune. These patterns and this karma is now changing. And maybe what it is because you have tried so many things for so long, your whole life, that's of course slow and steady. They are now all coming into effect and bringing balance and reciprocity throughout the universe and throughout your life. They're now going to start taking effect, in fact. So really, this is already happening. This is already taking place. And these messages are here to show you that this is now. I'm seeing clocks, many cogs and many clocks and a key that was set in motion a long time ago. And the different cogs are different sizes, and slowly they've been moving, and now slowly, the final cog is actually like a spinning wheel. is gonna be fast, swift changes in your life, in your psyche, in your whole world. It may seem like a change, a day and night difference to you, to yourself, to people around you. Everything's gonna just switch. Like at the beginning, just turning the light on. That's how extreme it's going to seem. But in fact, you've been doing this work your whole life, and probably countless lifetimes before that. And this is why this message is coming through for your highest good and greatest wellbeing, to let you know that this is what's going on. You have been doing the work, you have been doing the practices, and you may never have seen any sort of results so far whatsoever, or maybe like the tiniest result occasionally, as if you're just tweaking. But now these changes are coming in. And I feel like actually also, so we have just, we've had this full moon, and then, so that would have been in Aquarius, and then it moved into Pisces just as Mercury was stationing direct. And then yesterday it went into Aries. So the moon is already started a new cycle through the whole zodiac. So right now this is happening. And you may have even noticed something yesterday just clicking or changing within you. Yeah. You're going to get this feeling of satisfaction and fullness. And this time the other shoe isn't going to drop. This is better than a winning jackpot lottery ticket, because it's everything. It's in your DNA, it's in your cells, it's in your bones, it's in your blood. This is like the jackpot for life, and in every way, and in every sense of life. With the 9, I'm seeing something to do with, I don't think it's like 9 years, 9 decades. 9, there's something about 9 that's really important. I don't think it's prior 9 lives. If anything, it could be 9,000 years. 900,000 years. I don't know, there's something about 9 that's really important. Maybe over the next 9 days, pay attention. Let's just see if anything else. Okay, 9 is important. Queen of Wands, yeah. Your magic is setting on fire. You're embodying yourself so truly in a way that you've never embodied yourself before. And I just saw the world and the devil there. All those years of heartache and heartbreak and pain and suffering are going to make sense to you in a way that they've never made sense. You're going to be restored 9-fold, 10-fold. I've already got a lot of cards on the deck here. Oh, look, this did flip, and it was at the bottom a minute ago. The world. I wondered whether that would come out. Your whole world is changing in ways that you probably never thought possible at this point. You're getting the nourishment and the support and the love that you've always deserved and needed. Okay, I'm just going to get a moon oracle. Have faith in your dreams. A new start is coming. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be one of those short and sweet messages. There is so much heaviness, so I didn't go into too much detail. But whoever this reading's for, you'll know. You don't really need me to describe what you've been through. Yeah, bring love into the situation, and that's Aquarius. We just had the full moon in Aquarius, and we had the Queen of Cups somewhere earlier. So just focus on love. Focus on love. Okay. Let's just see how you go over the next 9 days, over the next 28 days, and if anything, if there are more readings come through, I'll put them up. And yeah, if this is your reading, I hope this helps and makes sense, and I hope this just brings the light and the clarity and the confirmation that you were needing, just that extra bit of support. Okay, take care.